Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chatting the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. Yeah, I hear him chatting the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but man's keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
So I'm watching Cowboys-Giants last night, and Malik Nabers is amazing. Incredible player. Incredible talent. Giants hit on one for sure. But I found myself turning into John Taffer because I was yelling at Dayball. I said, you're going to freaking kill this kid. This is before the last play where he gets concussed and he had to be taken out. But even before that, you're going to kill him. They targeted him 8 billion times across the middle. I was just like, there's no way he's going to last.
What was it, 15 targets? 12 catches on 15 targets?
Yes.
I had a hot take, and I recorded something for DraftKings where I recorded it before this game. And my hot take, and this is going to offend some Dolphin fans in particular, but I think Malik Nabers is already the second best wide receiver in the NFL.
Oh, we were talking about that yesterday, about like how quickly he's ascended to that conversation.
Behind Tyreek?
No, behind Justin Jefferson.
Oh.
But that is certainly wide receiver U. It's crazy. The amount of the guys that you can take from that program at LSU, drop in, and they immediately are elite. That's usually historically when I was growing up, wide receivers really came into their own year 3. LSU guys, year 1, they're already like Pro Bowl status. It's nuts.
It's weird. It's different administrations too, but they keep churning them out. I don't know what it is. Is he from Louisiana? Is that what it is?
Well,
Are these guys from Louisiana?
Part of it is it's cyclical when it comes to college recruiting. Mm-hmm. A big reason why Jeremiah Smith is playing in Scarlet and Gray this year is because Ryan Day and Ohio State have a program where, hey, we put wide receivers in the NFL. If you're a up-and-coming wide receiver, if you're a highly touted recruit, you look at Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham, Jamar Chase. You just look at the roster that they have put together recently in the NFL, and you think, well, if my goal is ultimately, like anybody, I go to college to prepare myself for my pro career, for whatever reason, if I go to this program, I'm part of an elite group that knows how to get that position developed better than anyone else in the nation.
But again, and by the way, Jamar Chase is another name on that list.
Yeah, mention him. Steve Martin also.
Okay.
Great wide receiver.
The incredible, that's what happens when people are talking to you. Say Jamar Chase. I'm like, okay, I'll put Jamar Chase out there.
I'm just trying to help you.
Oh, thank you. You
telling you where they're from. I'm giving you information.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Jarvis Landry too, Juice?
Mm-hmm. And they're all from Louisiana, I believe. They all are from Louisiana.
Like from the state?
From the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana honestly has, in terms of like high school talent, I know Florida is always reputed, but if you look at Florida, like when it comes to high school talent, probably dipped. Georgia, Louisiana can start laying claim to like best high school talent.
But I think I want to lean towards it because they're from Louisiana, not because they went to LSU. Because I don't know that if I'm someone who wants to be developed at a certain position. I don't know if I just blindly, well, this school does it. Like, I go for coaches. It's the programs that I look for. I don't look for just the brand of the school. So I think it's something about Louisiana high school wide receivers that are really good, that turn into great college wide receivers, that turn into elite NFL wide receivers.
Yeah, it's just really special what that university has pumped out. Like I said, there's like zero latency for these guys to come online in the pros. Like they hit the ground running. It's
Having
nuts.
said that, Malik Nabers is going to die. Like the Giants. If I'm Wellington Mara or whatever, I'm coming down and say, guys, like, look, let's not. We know we're not that good.
Is Wellington still with us?
Is he?
I don't. I think
Rooney?
we've moved on for.
What's the name of the
Rooney Mara is the one married to Joaquin Phoenix,
There
or
you
partners
go.
with
Wellington
Joaquin
Mara died in 2005.
So it's been a little
He
bit.
missed COVID.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man,
that's my.
you
that's
should
my
have been there.
barometer
He
now.
would have loved it.
That's my barometer now. Every time I hear someone died like 2008.
Oh, you miss all the fun.
Yeah.
We were just getting warmed up.
I think about my man Michael Clark Duncan, right? The Green Mile. Like, oh, he never knew about COVID.
He would have
man.
loved this.
He would have been here.
You were there just in your home sipping on a seltzer. Man, Michael Clark Duncan would have loved this. Wiping your groceries.
Wiping groceries
He
down.
would have loved this. Watching Twitch for entertainment.
Oh, my
Seeing
God.
what kind of third world country is playing soccer illegally. This is amazing.
Did he know what Twitch was? He was like, wait, what's Twitch?
Wellington Mara would have loved this Mexican soccer league.
Korean baseball.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, but yeah, it's one of those things where I know Dan does this thing where he talks about like, man, we're destroying these bodies or whatever. And for the most part, I'm like, no, man, come on. Like, they all signed up for this. But I don't think anyone signed up to be like the only target every single game.
I think Nabers, I think he wasn't satisfied with his targets in the first week, and they've made it up to him. If anyone kills him, it's not going to be Dable, who's dyeing his beard, obviously.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy.
Oh, my God.
It's got to be Daniel Jones, because some of these passes need to be a little bit more on the mark. But that just goes to show you how special Malik Nabers is, in that it's a limited offense. It's certainly a limited quarterback, and he's on a field with CeeDee Lamb, okay, at the same position. And you watch Nabers, and you're like, this might be the best football player on the field. And they have Michael Parsons on there. There's a lot of talent in that game. Not in blue and white, but he is special, no doubt.
You remember a faint dream? I remember it. I can see it in the distance. For that one weekend, we thought Kadarius Toney was Malik Nabers.
Dude, that
Remember
was
he
a
had that game
time.
of 15 targets, 14 catches for 125, and we were like, that's it. That's the guy.
Two-time Super Bowl champion.
Thank you.
Kadarius Toney.
Gatorade Player of the Week. or something.
Fast Twitch player of the week.
The only fast twitch player of the week.
Oh, my God. What a time that was. Can you imagine what his life was right at that moment, right at that precipice? Like, oh, my God. This man right here, Patrick Mahomes, is about to turn me into the greatest wide receiver who ever played, right? Just do this every week.
Look, I will not apologize for my Kadarius Toney love at this point. It's a bit. But they don't win that Super Bowl, that first one against the Eagles without him. They don't win it without him. They flatly don't.
It is. I'm just trying to, like, do you think he took out loans and stuff? Like, he started to live beyond his means because he thought, guys, I made it. I'm good.
NFL wide receivers, they're usually fiscally responsible.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
are.
think so.
They're really kind of sober personalities.
Yeah.
Very, very
He seems
reserved.
pretty conservative with his money.
Nabers is on target for 221 targets this season, which would shatter the single season record of 205 set by Marvin Harrison Jr.'s father.
Thank God.
On average, in a 16-game season, he still would have broken it at 208. So that's the type of pace he's on in terms of targets. It's crazy that he's getting that level of targets and actually being worth that in terms of production and the way he's coming down with plays. It's rare that you see someone in the first 4 games be this. Josh Gordon might have been the first guy that we saw, or most recent guy that we saw, that just instantly was elite.
He was stashed for a while. He was a supplemental pick. Like, Josh
But
Gordon
at the
had a lot
time
of
that he
stuff.
got onto the field,
I mean,
guess.
OBJ was incredible after the hamstring injury because
Yeah,
he was
that's
hurt.
true.
He
Yeah.
missed the first 4 or 5 games, then came out and went insane. Jamar Chase, I think his rookie year was also,
Yeah,
if you look
Jamar
at his
Chase was
numbers,
great.
were insane. But to Amin's point of
all LSU guys.
all LSU guys, who, by the way,
Justin Jefferson also came into the league.
but
LSU.
to the LSU point, there used to be a time where you couldn't get LSU skill players because those guys weren't as good as they were labeled in college, right? It was like, I remember DBU is LSU. Like any corner, any safety you would take from LSU was a dog. Pass rushers, linebackers, all the defensive players would stand the test of time in the NFL. And then all of a sudden it's like this rush of offensive firepower led by Leonard Fournette, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson. Like all of those guys kind of transitioned and was like, oh, wait, LSU is now a program that can send kids to the NFL and make them superstars. But, Amin, to the point of killing Malik Nabers, I don't know
Is that the name of this episode? Killing Malik Nabers?
Yeah.
They're going to kill Malik Nabers. You disrespectful son of a bitch.
How is everybody so hurt so quickly?
For the DEA.
Something, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if people are skipping the preseason games and not getting their body right. But there has been such a wave of injury to prime-time all-star players within the first 3 weeks. I don't think we've ever had an injury-riddled season as quickly as we have like this year.
These guys are getting like these are crazy. Like it's not like.
But football hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. But like Malik Nabers, his usage rate, I don't even know if that's a stat in football, but it's like
It could be.
it's abnormally high. Like you run someone that many times. So you know who I thought about? Maybe I'm the old guy here. I thought about Brett Favre and Sterling Sharp. Because Sterling Sharp, if you don't know, Shannon Sharp's older brother, Sterling Sharp, when Shannon Sharp went to the Hall of Fame, his Hall of Fame speech is incredible. He literally said, my whole life I was just trying to be my older brother. Because Sterling was the best player in their family.
Yeah, Sterling was great.
And Sterling Sharp, early in Brett Favre's career in Green Bay, when he had zero confidence and he wasn't a good quarterback, all his security blanket was, I'm throwing it to Sterling Sharp every single time. Sterling Sharp basically made Brett Favre in the sense of giving him the confidence that, you can do this. And then, of course, he went on to become Hall of Fame quarterback and Hall of Fame piece of shit. But
it's a tough week for that.
Well, I'm just saying, look. I'm not, look.
Was he already voted in? Or
in the Hall of Fame of being a piece of shit?
Or
First ballot.
Yeah, like projecting.
No, he's already in there. He's been in there.
What'd you make of that? Because like the revelation
Brown
happens
coat?
while
Yep.
he's speaking to Congress because he bilked like the poorest of his community out of money. But like he reveals that. I don't know. I mean, if you want to assume that it was a play on getting people's sympathy, it worked. I thought it was effective. He got mine.
No.
You didn't get yours?
No.
Dude, Parkinson's is a hellscape. I would not wish that on anyone. I was like made really sad to hear that because he was the NFL Iron Man. And especially towards the Minnesota days, we all remember his skull bouncing off the turf.
Bountygate.
Yeah, and we all knew that he was going to pay for that at some point.
Like he paid for that volleyball stadium.
Bam! Got his ass. Yo, but it's true. It's one of those things where, I feel bad for you also. How about them $77 million? Like there's just those two thoughts can exist together.
Did you just hit him with a Ricky Henderson quote where he was asked, "Are you made sad by what's happening in Oakland?" I'm rich. I can't be sad.
I love Ricky Henderson
goat,
so
Ricky.
much. God.
His name is literally on the field that they will never play again. And he's like, I'm rich.
It's called perspective. Look it up.
Thank you, Amin.
No, but Brett Favre, to my point, like in order to exit that embryonic stage of man, I suck, which followed him in Atlanta and
No, he definitely stunk.
He needed the security blanket of Sterling Sharp. Now the good news is it really opened things up for Favre, and he became, as I said, Hall of Fame quarterback and Hall of Fame piece of shit. And yes, Billy, the jacket is brown to the shit Hall of Fame. But the cost of that, Sterling Sharp was destroyed physically. He never got to be the full, realization of his career the way his brother Shannon was. And now I look at Malik Nabers, I'm like, yo, this might be the guy who finally makes Daniel Jones look like a serviceable quarterback. Of course, the cost we're going to have to pay is you got to die, Malik Nabers, so that Daniel Jones can live.
Sacrificial lamb, Malik Nabers?
Kind of, and I'm like, I don't feel good about that. Not for Daniel Jones.
He does look more serviceable. There's a lot of bad quarterback play. That was a rough game last night. And especially at the end when Aubrey missed that kick. That stung.
Zebras took over the game, though.
Dude.
The game flows in the NFL have been really
It's insane.
How about
really difficult. I
Old
don't know.
man Al Michaels shitting on the
He
refs.
was so tired of it.
I don't think I've remembered a play-by-play guy, let alone a play-by-play guy of Al Michaels' caliber, Hall of Fame. Not that one, Billy. Don't get started. He's in the regular Hall
He's
of
in the
Fame.
regular
I
Hall of
said
Fame.
nothing. Don't.
Yeah, I
attach
saw the
Billy
look
to
in your
this.
eyes.
Yeah,
No
but-
such thing.
There-
Falsehoods.
This happens occasionally in the NFL where there's really strong point of emphasis in the offseason and the officials try to institute that. And then by the end of the season,
No one cares.
The game flow
Yeah.
gets a little bit better
Yeah.
and the games get a little bit looser. So it's just frustrating, especially with standalone games.
In a primetime spot with a new sponsor, right? Amazon Prime, you're going to have a game trot out there that has I can't find where the penalties are. There must have been like almost 25 penalties.
There
It was
was-
insane.
Dude, I bailed on the game. I just bailed.
Play
I was
CFB?
No, I was watching Mr. McMahon. You're looking in this studio. There's two of the stars of the Mr. McMahon documentary. Did you know that you're in the Mr. McMahon documentary?
Am I?
You're in the Mr. McMahon documentary. I swear to God.
Wait, hold on. Is this
IMDb it?
Hold on. Is this about like the whole? What's the guy's name?
I'm not playing a joke on you.
No,
Mick Foley.
Yeah, the Mick Foley.
No,
thing?
no. It's not the Kevin Owens thing that you
Yeah.
stepped into at ESPN. No, it's not that. I didn't know it either. Pablo's in it too. So, like in the opening credits of episode 1, they do like all these
Montage.
static images, and while it's happening, it's people talking about Vince McMahon and the WWE. My voice is in it. Pablo's voice is in it. I think you can make out Amin's voice in it. So
There's no way my voice is in it.
I'm pretty sure. YouTube comments if
What
you
did
watch
he
Mr.
say?
McMahon.
What did you say?
I've never said anything about Vince McMahon in my life.
I think your voice was a part of what Pablo was saying.
Oh,
What did Pablo say?
I don't recall. I was just like glowing in that. Is that my voice?
Can I guess what
Didn't
Pablo
even
said?
know.
Here's the thing.
Maybe check the YouTube comments to confirm if Amin was in it. To be fair, I didn't hear it for myself. I saw like Pablo tweet about it. And it's like, and he mentioned that Amin's voice was in it. I didn't pick up on it. I barely picked up on myself. I watched it. I was like, yo, was that me? And I flipped it back because I had one mention that said cameo Mr. McMahon. And I thought that there was this bearded guy that kind of looked like me. And I'm like, okay, someone's making fun of my appearance or whatever. And then
Wait a second.
And then I watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my voice, I think. And it wasn't really the tenor of my voice. It was like what I was saying. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something I would say.
Somebody did tag me and say, hey, McMahon doc. And I was like, do you want me to talk about it? I don't know. Because there was no exposition. It was just like, McMahon doc. I'm like, all right, thank you.
So you haven't watched it?
No, I haven't. I'm going to tell you something, man. I don't like having all this shit come out all at once. I can't. Too much volume. Too much volume.
Oh, you mean just shows, like entertainment, or just like all this stuff coming out about people that you grew up with, like Diddy, or just like all of the McMahon scandals, like being there for you all at once.
All the episodes all at once. Let's build. Let's grow together in this story. Let's
like Penguin.
Let's have an opportunity
Mike,
to react.
I'm in.
You're Penguin?
Penguin.
Penguin or Penguin out?
Yeah.
Penguin out.
Are you in Penguin?
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, there's a dude, the guy with like the gray beard. That's like one of like like the organized crime bosses. I'm like, where do I know this guy from? I Googled it. This is one of the Lost Boys from Hook.
Really?
Yeah, the Italian-looking Lost Boy in Hook.
Huh.
Yeah, he's got a beard and he's in Penguin.
Oh my
Go
God.
figure.
Does he play Carmine?
No, he's not. He's not a Falcone, but he's
Maroney.
but he's like one of those guys.
All right. It's a show on Max, right?
Yeah, I dig it.
Right, and it's based off of the Penguin character that was in The Batman with Robert Pattinson,
Yeah,
right?
which was probably a little too long, but overall file for me.
It wasn't for me. I look, Batman as a character is already emo enough. I don't need emo Batman. That was just too much.
What I liked about it was that it was a dark new twist. Like everyone does, like a dark new twist on that stuff. What I liked about it was in the comics, Batman was always the world's greatest detective.
Yes.
Like he'd enter a crime scene, and all these idiot cops wouldn't know what they were doing, and he'd just be like, "Hey, Commissioner Gordon, come here. Let me talk to you. Let me tell you what's going on here." And in the movie, in the movies,
That was almost Batman right there.
it was a little bit. Sorry. In the movies, you never got to. I'll pay the fine. In the movies, you never got to see that. It was always like Joel Schumacher never really positioned Batman as this great detective.
Right.
This one, the Matt Reeves movies, really get into him being a great detective, which I kind of dig.
He's kind of like Taffer in that way. He walks into a kitchen and he can see like all the like what temperature is this chicken being kept at? Like 50 degrees? You're gonna kill somebody.
You're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah. This beer, what temperature is that? 45? Look,
You're gonna kill somebody.
That's why you got so much head. That's why you got so much.
Hey, yo.
Yep. Hey, look, man. Let me tell you something. Taffer, he knows about head.
Hell yeah.
I like a lot of head on the beer. Better in the glass than in your stomach, I say.
Yeah.
Well,
Get rid of that carbon dioxide.
take those napkins, dip them in, show people the right way to pour a beer. Ain't that right, Billy?
It's like a loaf of bread.
Right.
But
I was so confused when he was doing that at the Super Bowl. I was like, I'm not following along with this.
you didn't get the
Well,
science?
no, because I think he said something backwards or something. So I was like, wait, what's going on here? It was very odd.
That's like
and we also had to sneak that beer in like past security,
Yeah.
which wasn't like.
It's concerning.
What do you mean you had to sneak it in?
That's what he means.
Well, we
Prison
did
wallet?
like you gotta go through like
security for
metal
this-
detectors and such, and they're not just gonna let you walk through with a metal can of beer.
These were like the scanners where they would take like a.
Well, we went through like the standard metal detector at Radio Row, but like there was also a food court right by there, so some strings were pulled.
Was it a food court or food pavilion?
Some
Some people can be sticklers about this.
I think it was a food court.
What's
I don't
the
know what's a
difference?
pavilion.
There is none.
Oh.
But some people insist on calling it. Some people insist on calling it a food
I
pavilion.
want
and get
to
offended.
go back to that food court and see what the prices are today, because I'm positive it was dynamic pricing there. Like, there's no way that food court normally sells you 2 slices of pizza for $39.
So
It is
what
Vegas.
what food pavilion is to food court, dynamic pricing is to price gouging.
I think it all makes sense now. Mm-hmm. The Taffer beer trick. This is like one of his signature things. I've seen him do it on other shows. Billy, like I feel
His interviews. Listen, John Taffer, if you're listening, stop for a moment, because we're going to be slightly critical.
Okay.
And no one sent this to John Taffer.
Tread lightly.
His interviews are all the same, right? It's basically, I invented Red Zone.
Mm-hmm.
I basically like put things in the way so people rub butts against each
The
other.
butt
Butt
funnel.
funnel, yeah.
Every
The
time
butt
the butt
funnel.
funnel story, and then the beer thing, and then you ask him about looking around things like, I've never heard that before. People say I do that. It's like, yeah, every interview someone asks you about this, John Taffer.
Okay.
We've been here.
Let me guess. You don't like the Costco guys either.
Well, we've talked about them way too much.
Yeah.
Aren't they doing a thing this weekend? Is Chris Cody going to that?
The boom pack.
That's why he's not here.
The boom pack.
You like the Costco guys?
Yeah, I like the Costco
It's
guys.
too much.
What do you mean?
I'm over them.
What?
It's just that's too much.
I don't understand it. I just don't get
It's-
it.
It is pretty nuanced. It is hard to get.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
If you
it's
like
not for
something,
everybody.
you give it a boom. If you don't like it, you give it
No,
a doom.
You're
Okay.
saying you don't get why they're famous.
You're making it
That
sound.
part.
You're making it sound simple.
I'm trying to make it sound simple for them, Mike.
It's
They don't
easier to
understand.
understand, but it's
It's more nuanced,
yeah,
but like that's
certainly.
the baseline.
Yes,
But I guess what I don't
there's
get is
chicken bakes.
why do
Double chunk
people
chocolate
like
cookies.
them? What's the appeal?
I
Yes,
mean,
I'm looking
I
at
like I like them because of what we're articulating. I think it's high art.
Look, let's pull back the curtains and expose people for what they are. Mike Ryan, for about 6 weeks now, has been sending me the worst memes and reels on Instagram. They're awful. They're all of these
Really?
people who awkwardly stare into the camera and like with piercing blue eyes and just do very cringy, and I hate using that word,
You
but
better-
there's no other word
You
I can
better,
use.
speaking of treading lightly, you better, if you say a bad word about my homie Greg, I'm telling you right now, you better not say a bad word about
People
Greg.
lip syncing to like 80 songs, but they're trying to be like intriguing and attractive.
Do you guys follow Greg Hutchinson?
No.
No.
Okay.
Don't.
No.
This
Any
guy's an
relationship to
all-time.
Aiden or?
No. It's not Hutchinson. Hutchison.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
There's one where it's a family and they've got a nanny and they.
Oh, our three dads.
What the hell is that, man?
Our three dads is. I think I'm the only person on the planet that follows this account. All right, so our three dads is not a throuple. They correct you. There is a divorced couple, a gay
Yes.
couple, a 70-year-old man, and one that is younger, but he's like juiced out and dyes his beard. They admit to all of this.
Brian Dibble?
And he remarried, and the three dads live together with their live-in nanny. And so I think one of the dads sold his parents' real estate company for a lot of money. So these dudes, it's very clearly like this family is trying to record high quality for IG, high quality content to pitch to television networks. But all they're getting is like 3 likes on IG. It's crazy. Like, production value, this is like a show that you would see on E, but it's just existing on Instagram, and I'm the only person that likes it. And I send these things to Amin to make sure I'm not hallucinating and they're real.
No, you send them to me because you want to piss me off. Because I've told you to stop. I've literally said, stop sending me stuff.
You even dislike Greg, though? Greg is great.
Awful. Man.
Greg Hutchison is not.
I just found out last night that Francis Ford Coppola is still with us.
Is it Coppola or Coppola?
I call him Coppola.
Coppola.
How'd you not know he was still with us? Didn't you hear about him trying to finance like this huge movie like by himself?
the wine.
No, that's how I found out about it. I've seen the trailer for this movie. It said, from the vision of Francis Ford Coppola, whatever his name is, and Adam Driver and Megalopolis. And I'm like,
Megalopolis.
I can't say that word.
Well, it's got to be referred to as Megaflopolis because it's not gonna work out. I had a friend that didn't wait for me to watch it because I'm in on this because it's been screened overseas and it's been a very divisive film. And the review that I got from my buddy Mochetta was that not since Cloud Atlas has there been such an ambitious movie made by a filmmaker that just totally misses the mark. You know that there's like a part in this movie, there's like 20 markets in the U.S. where there's a part in the movie where there's crowd participation, where someone acts with Adam Driver. Someone in the crowd acts with Adam Driver.
That's got to be a mark, right?
How?
They hired this person.
No, there's 20 different markets, like 20 different markets where this is happening. And like I saw an IG reel on one person that was like, I was casted as the actor that goes back and forth with Adam Driver in the film. There's a part in the film where he breaks the fourth wall and he essentially does a Q&A with the audience. It's really ambitious stuff, but the movie itself seems to not make much sense from the trailer. I wanted to watch it just to see what kind of mess this would be, but I'm not going to knock ambition. He had to fund this because movie studios will not make this kind of movie anymore. And sometimes they'll flop, and unfortunately, they'll probably use this as a case study to not do films like this. But I do find original films without any IP, anything borrowed, like I find that very refreshing, but this apparently missed the mark.
I told you guys that I begrudged Hollywood studios for years for not letting these artists tell the stories that are in their brain. Right? I'm like, well, why they edit it down? Oh my God, the director's cut sounds so much more interesting. And then I watched The Irishman, and I said, you know what? Maybe the studios were onto something. Maybe, just maybe, they knew something because they let Scorsese make whatever he wanted to do with that movie. Netflix did, because they just wanted to say we did a Scorsese movie, and it was so unbelievably long and boring.
Guys, I have something that I want to workshop with you on air today, and it stems from a conversation in the commissary this morning. So I found out yesterday when I was picking my daughter up from school that she didn't have school today. And then it was scramble mode. And I found out because the teacher's like, have a good weekend. I was like, what a silly goose. It's Thursday. Like
Teacher work day? It's not related to the storm.
No, I think it's a teacher work day or something, right? But I found this out at pickup, and then I consulted the calendar. I was like, oh, yeah, I highlighted that. I just lost track of time. So then I had to scramble to figure out, well, what am I going to do with my child today? Because I have to come in, and my wife took some days off because our kid was sick, the other one. So anyway, the solution that we have is that my dad, who works from home, is going to be watching for a little bit. And then after I get out of here, I'm going to fly home to go take care of my child. And we did the thing where it was, just if she's acting up and you're out of work, just put on a movie, right? Sure. And then in talking things out, we realized kids' movies nowadays are like an hour and 10 minutes.
They are quick.
It's not what they used to be. So what I want to try to figure out what to do, and as you know, we have a number of parents here, maybe you guys can help me out. I want to make the Titanic of movies. Like, I want a Titanic kids movie that's 3 hours in length so that you just kind of set it and forget it. I want a kids movie that if it was the VHS days, 2 VHSs long. That you can just go. Like, I'm not a big screen time guy at all, but like this is a break glass in case of emergency situation like this one where my father has to work, but
it has to be a movie because TV series.
No.
You just
movie.
put on Big City Greens and you set it and forget it.
No, we need to have a premise for a movie. Not Titanic. That's a little grim. I think,
the Titanic
for children.
of movies is already.
When I said I meant a Titanic of kids movies more so in terms of like length. Like I need a really long kids
like
movie.
Heat. 2 VHS tapes.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Heat, but Pixar Heat.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think movies are made now more than ever with the idea that you're going to take your kid to the movies, right? That's how they make their money.
The
box office.
We're not going to the movies for this length
straight
of
to
a
video.
movie. Yeah, this is a streaming exclusive thing because I'm not taking my kid to a movie. I don't think I've ever taken my daughters to movies now.
Really?
Actually, that I think about it. Yeah, I don't think we've gone to a theater yet. Yeah, no, we haven't.
Wellington
I think that
Monroe would have loved this.
I think that we have marked down on the calendar like Moana 2, I think is going to be like where we make our movie theater debut.
Debut?
Yeah.
What you want to do a soft launch before you take them to something.
Really?
Yeah, because you need to. They have to get acclimated to the idea. Hey, we're gonna sit still for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And watch this thing, and we're not gonna yell. We're not gonna get up and.
So
run
do I
around.
do that at home? How do I soft launch this?
I think you got to pick a movie that's been out for months and months. And then you go like at a time where there's not gonna be a lot of people, and you just.
But here's the thing about taking your children to the movies. Normally, when I want to go to see a movie with not a lot of people, I go at what would be prime time for kids' movies, I would think, right? So, like, if I want to go see a movie, I'll go, like, a Saturday at, like, 12:55 a.m. or p.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I'll go, like, first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, if I could get an 11:20 a.m. movie ticket,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in heaven. I go there. There's 2 random creepers just sitting by themselves somewhere else in the theater. It's like incredible.
Acting with Adam Driver.
No one's there. If I want to go to an 11:20 screening for a child's movie, I'm assuming it's packed.
That's prime time.
Yeah, so I have to go like at night, like prime time, like wake my kids up from their slumber at like 10:30 p.m. to go see a kids movie.
No, you got to just pick a movie that's been out for a long time, so that anyone who's going is also going there to soft launch their kids into movies.
Okay,
that's the explicit purpose of going to watch. I don't know, Inside Out 2 in the theater now. Like, it's already out on Disney Plus. If you came here to the theater to watch it, you're probably trying to soft launch your kid into the idea of going to the movies. That's what you do.
Also, like, are kids movies with kids a nightmare in terms of like no one behaves, or are they all well behaved?
I haven't run into that.
No,
I haven't run into that at all. I've taken Juliet to the movies quite a bit, and it's not
the other kids aren't like crazy screaming.
No,
nothing?
I can understand why you would assume that. I went into that thinking maybe they're just well-behaved kids where I'm at, but I haven't run into that issue.
I would say every once in a while you get a runner.
A runner?
Every once in a while, up and down the aisles, and it's like somebody grabbed that kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Hasn't happened to me.
But what happens a lot is you get the kids that talk back to the movie. Especially younger ones, they really can't differentiate between like reality and this is the story being told. Lots of uh-ohs when things go wrong.
That was me at Twisters. What a great film.
I like an
Twisters
uh-oh.
was.
Look, they're for the most part, like Mike said, they get it. But you get sometimes a little bit excitable ones. They want to get involved. They want to be part of the story, and their parents don't kind of like. That's the other thing. You get parents who don't tell them, "Hey, be quiet. We're in a movie or whatever."
Yeah.
They just let them do what they do.
Yeah. Well, this isn't not what I want my 3-hour movie for, though. I want this to be like a straight-to-home situation, like a streaming exclusive.
But you don't want a TV series.
No.
Dude, sell me on
TV series are easier.
You can just
Right?
put them on IG and watch R3 Dads, and that'll like
Wow.
be like
Don't
2.5
do that.
hours.
Okay.
Definitely don't. do
Maybe
that.
you could have like a fairy tale story where there's like fairy tale type creatures, right? And there's a ruler of that area. We can call it like far, far away or something like that. And then that ruler wants to ban all of those fairy tale creatures, and he pushes them all to a swamp where there's an ogre.
Yeah.
And then that ogre is really unhappy, and there could be like a talking donkey or something. I don't know. Maybe you cast Eddie Murphy in it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing some ideas.
Right.
Have you guys ever heard the Eddie Murphy Shrek story, by the way? Like why he did Shrek?
No, I have not.
So he said Jeffrey Katzenberg came up to him like in 1987 or whatever and said, "Hey, I got this great role for you." What's it about? It's about this guy, and he's framed for a crime that he didn't commit, and everyone thinks he did it, but he didn't really do it, and he's got to clear his name. And he's like, "Oh, this is incredible." And at the end of it, it's like, "Oh, by the way, the movie's animated. You're just doing the voice." And Eddie Murphy said, "Get the F out of here. I'm not doing no damn children's movie, da-da-da." And he said 2 years later, Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out. He was supposed to be Roger Rabbit. And so fast forward 15 years later, Jeffrey Katzenberg says, "Oh, man, I got a great movie for you." It's well, you're not the main. You're like the support guy, but you are the best friend to this guy who's being like targeted, and no one really understands him.
Chris Farley
He's
attached.
actually a good guy, da-da-da. And it's animated. And Eddie Murphy's like, and then he's like, "Tell me more." And that was Shrek. And then for Shrek 2, him, Mike Myers, and Cameron Diaz, they all signed a deal to get percentage of gross. And Shrek 2 went on to become like the best-selling DVD of all time. And literally, Eddie Murphy could have not made a dime from his entire career. And when I tell you he's rich beyond rich from just Shrek, it's mind-boggling.
I think I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal this or not, but like I've been told, we have someone that works here who has a relative that's in show business through marriage that had a sitcom, right? And this person has told me that person has made so much more money from an animated movie about the Ice Age than on their sitcom.
We had him on the show.
Did we?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not saying. Did the person say that on the show?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah. Ray Romano's made so much more money from Ice Age than
Ice
he
Age.
ever did from
Didn't
everybody.
they
that
just end up
knows Ray.
replacing all the voices in Ice Age? Because like I've been watching some Ice Age stuff, and I'm like,
That's not like Leguizamo.
these voices sound like a little racist, honestly.
You know what I
It's not
saw?
Dennis Leary.
You know what I saw?
That is
so
not Queen Latifah.
did you?
I don't know who that is, but I feel awkward watching this.
So you guys obviously know Toy Story, and you know
Yes.
Tom Hanks from Toy Story,
Yes.
right?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay,
John
so
Ratzenberger.
so Woody obviously is like a big character, but Toy Story has gone on to be more than just like the 4 movies, 5 movies, or whatever. They
know
have
where you're
like
going with this.
rides, video games, all this stuff. So how do they do that? Is it AI? Do they record Tom Hanks? They don't bring in Tom Hanks to do all of these things. They can't afford him. It's his brother. They
Yes.
hired his brother to do a
Yes.
voice of Tom Hanks.
Like
to be
Jose
Woody
Canseco.
in all of these other spin-offs. So Tom Hanks' brother is living off of doing an impression of Tom Hanks as Woody.
1,000%. Jeremy, I found out when I was watching an episode of Robot Chicken on Adult Swim, and they did a skit where Woody gets like addicted to crack or whatever, and I'm like, how did they get? Because they often will get celebrities to come do the voices, and I'm like, how'd they get Tom Hanks to sign off on this? And then I saw the credits, and it's like John Hanks, and I'm like, who the hell is John Hanks? I looked it up. It's like, yeah, it's his brother. It's his brother, and his brother has this entire cottage industry of all the video games, all the Disney rides, anything that's not a Toy Story movie or like major like Christmas TV special or something like that. It's Tom Hanks' brother.
And he was Forrest Gump's body double. That's amazing. That's
Dude,
where it all started.
That's how the rich stay
Jim
rich, huh?
Hanks.
Jim? It's Jim, right?
Jim Hanks.
Jim
I'm going to
Hanks.
try to
Jim
find out
Hanks.
which things he's been
Not
doing.
John.
Well, look,
There's
there's a
a-
picture of Jim Hanks.
Yeah. Which one's Jim?
I can't
there
even
you
tell.
go. That's what people say.
Big sports night in the market.
I can see why
tonight.
Tom was the
Huge
successful
game.
one.
Pack the Rock. There's a storyline attached to this game between the Miami Hurricanes and Virginia Tech that I want to explore a little bit with Jeremy. But we're trying to pack the Rock. Expect upwards of 50,000 people at Hard Rock Stadium. Friday night game's always kind of weird. Friday night game at the Rock.
I don't like it.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm not crazy about it either, but I do like that it's a standalone, especially on a big college football weekend where Alabama's taking on Georgia. All these Georgia games have kind of been around Miami games, so I haven't really had the opportunity to watch Georgia all that much. So I'm excited to be able to watch that. And also, it's my dad's 70th birthday this weekend.
Oh, happy birthday, Papa.
So I get to celebrate that with a party at my house for him and not have a Canes distraction. But if you're interested in going to the game today, we would love to have you pack the Rock. Why don't you check out the Game Time app? Download that Game Time app. This should be a hot ticket. You can get great deals on this. There's dynamic pricing. Tickets sometimes, the prices go down the closer you get to kickoff. Create an account and use it for the first time. And when you do, use the code DAN, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Amin, what time is it?
It's game time. Woo.
Now, one of the storylines that I want to talk about surrounding this game is Cam Ward. By the way, not enough is made that there was a Hall of Fame goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes by the name of Cam Ward. It's just odd.
Was
There's
it?
like an all-time Hurricanes player by the name of Cam Ward, and now you have a Canes quarterback that is a Heisman favorite. by
History
the name of,
repeating itself.
they need to take a picture or like do the Spider-Man point.
Be on the cover of like SI Kids or something together.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Not full-fledged
Nah,
SI.
that's-
No, not
well, I don't think that exists.
This is
right?
like
It's
a
just
kiddie
robots now.
AI. So Cam Ward, for his career, has over 15,000 passing yards. Many Hurricanes fans are just discovering Cam Ward. Cam Ward has played at Washington State, and before that he was at Incarnate Word. So combined between FCS and FBS, he has 1,500 passing yards. I was like, that's a lot. Does this guy have a shot?
15,000.
15,000.
Yeah, you said 1,500.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 15,000 passing yards. I'm like, that sounds a lot. What's the record? The record is held by Case Keenum, who's at 19,000 and what?
217.
19,217.
Did he play 6 years or something? How do you get that many yards? The 15,000?
Yeah, Cam Ward has 15,000. In fact, you can. So what I'm getting at, Jeremy, is that there are actually 2 active quarterbacks. And keep in mind, we have the college football playoff. It's expanded, so there's extra games this season. We actually have 2 quarterbacks that have an outside shot at breaking Case Keenum's all-time record when you combine FCS and FBS, in particular to Cam Ward. The other quarterback's done all his damage at FBS.
Dillon Gabriel is the other quarterback, started his career at UCF, then went to Oklahoma, and now at Oregon. He actually has even more passing yards than Cam Ward has. Cam Ward's at 15,313 if you combine his FCS and FBS passing numbers. For Dillon Gabriel, I believe that number now is 15,779. Now, Cam Ward has 8 regular season games left. Dillon Gabriel has 9 regular season games left. So, if you do the math on where these guys would need to go, how deep they would need to go into the playoff, and what their averages would need to be in order to be able to break this record, Cam Ward off the bat, if you say, hey, right away, the Canes do what's expected of them now, which is they finish out their regular season, they at the very least go to an ACC title game, and they play at least one college football playoff game.
Which they would if they won that ACC.
If they won that ACC title game, they would do that. Cam Ward would need to average 390 passing yards per game, which is quite a bit.
That's
tough.
He's
the average is.
He would
is
he would need
presently-
to have like a couple like crazy games.
Right. Now, through 4 games, Cam Ward is averaging 360 yards passing.
With a lot of those fourth quarters not being played at all.
Correct. And
victim of his own success.
if you look at what, obviously now they're entering league play, he should be playing through most of those games, but also if the Canes can find a way to not just win the ACC, but win one college football playoff game and get to a second, and he just stays at his average, all he needs is 354 passing yards per game to reach the record.
Doable.
What about for Dillon?
For Dillon Gabriel, they have 9 games to play. Now,
He's
his
in a better
averages,
spot.
he's in a better spot in some ways. In that,
But he's a less gifted passer.
right. Well, he's in a better spot in a couple of different ways. A, they have more games to play in the regular season. B, there's a stronger likelihood that if Oregon was to make the playoff, it might not be through winning their conference championship, so they may end up as an at-large. Thus securing the potential for even more games than Cam Ward can possibly reach.
Right. The scenario for Dillon Gabriel is get to the Big Ten championship
And
game,
lose it.
play that first round game, win it, and then this record is pretty much yours. Now, all these records would probably have a mighty asterisk attached to them because of the COVID season.
Mm-hmm. And the thing with Dillon Gabriel is, look, in the regular season, all he would need to do to break this by the end of the regular season is average 382 yards per game. Now, that's a lot. He's not there right now with Oregon in terms of averages. If you look back at his years at UCF or Oklahoma, those averages, it's getting you there.
Yeah,
but
they're
he's
starting to figure
just
stuff
over,
out, though.
Just over 300 yards per game at
He's
the
got to
moment.
get fat these next 2 opponents.
But he plays UCLA next, and I believe Michigan State before Ohio State. But then if you start to look at his numbers, okay, you get to a championship game, 344 yards per game. If you get to a championship game and a college football playoff game, 312 yards per game would get you there. You have an opportunity for both Cam Ward and Dillon Gabriel to break this record. What I think would be incredible
Is if they did it play
against each other.
Oh, dude.
You have
Now
an
we're in.
opportunity where if
You
the
son of a
Oregon,
bitch.
right? Oregon gets in as an at-large
Get
team.
Oregon against Cristobal, which is a storyline in itself.
Especially if the Canes get a bye, Oregon wins a game and gets to play the Canes in the second round of the college football playoff on a neutral field with both players having an opportunity to break the record, and the winner would absolutely then get to hold the record because they'd play one more game. That would be a
Skeens.
special scenario.
Skeens. Absolute skeens.
That would be amazing.
That sounds like a dirty word.
Well, I say that in place of scenes.
Oh.
I'm a big Paul Skeens guy. That's a little storyline that no one's talked about. Maybe with reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair, but I'm glad we're talking about it.
Yeah,
I'm glad
like,
we're talking about it first. And it's funny to think back, like, for both of these guys, right? For Cam Ward, it starts at FCS. For Dillon Gabriel, like, he had a 500-yard passing effort at UCF in a loss to Memphis that was a 50-49 game. And those extra couple of 100 yards because they were playing from behind and just throwing bombs all game long to Gabe Davis are like the reason why he's going to be in this. So it's crazy to think that both of these players who have had careers with 3 different stops in college football could end up being the passing leaders over all of these other guys that, I mean, never transferred. We're all at the same school.
I want to go back to something that Mike mentioned earlier, which is the game is tonight. It's a Friday night game.
Yep.
I don't like college football on Friday night. And the funny thing about that sentiment was I was going to say, well, come on, man. High schools get Friday night. Then I realized deep down inside, I mean, you've never watched a high school football game.
I'm watching Bishop Gorman.
Why do you care? And I don't care. I just want my Friday nights, man. I don't want to have to deal with
It's too much football.
Just too much football.
It was my problem with Packers Eagles in that like I dedicate way too many of my nights to football. Anyways, give me my Friday so I can be a functioning human with deep interpersonal relationships.
I mean, Southridge versus Homestead tonight, though.
It's a big one.
That's a huge one. The Square versus Exit 1.
You guys going? Or?
I got a buddy who's going.
Are you gonna be packing the rock?
I don't know where I'm going to be.
Can you do both?
I can't do both.
Too
Oh, too
Why?
bad.
Too far. One's south, one's north. Can't be in two
Is the
places
game
at
on
one time.
ESPNU? Because there's ways to do both.
House
If you're a
divided.
Golden
House
Cane,
divided, yeah, no. I'm not a Golden Cane. Yeah.
flash it up. On
I know
TV.
one, though.
Oh, it's too bad.
Wait, is the game on TV?
Southridge, Homestead, probably not.
I don't think so.
That doesn't have national appeal. But a lot of local teams end up on ESPNU on Friday nights.
It's crazy because as I think about it, there are so many players that come from Florida and South Florida specifically. A high school game actually would be probably kind of fire. You're going to see like the next, Antonio Brown or whatever.
When I was in high school, that was when South Florida in particular, was the legitimate hotbed of college recruiting. I would spend my weekends going to see. I remember watching Charlie Jones and Bobby Washington, whose kids play at Miami. He was at Killian. I remember watching
State champs.
Yeah, we had great running backs here. Braddock had a good running back at the time. Like we had a lot of talent down here. Willie Williams, Carroll City was really good. Like I would go around town like watching these high school games because we had a lot of great programs.
There was a game I was lucky enough to cover a couple years ago on our show on Bally that was a high school football show. And it was American Heritage against Chaminade Madonna. And the offense of Chaminade Madonna had Cedric Bailey was their quarterback.
Cedric Bailey started.
Who's starting at NC State because Grayson McCall is hurt. Then you had Darius Geis, not Darius Geis, I apologize. I forget his last name
Bailey
at the
was
moment.
like 6'7"
Darius
in high
Geis is the
school.
wrong guy. But there was a running back that's now at North
medley.
Carolina. Their wide receiver was Jeremiah Smith. They were all sophomores. He's now at Ohio
How great
State.
was Jeremiah in high school? Like
He
you
was
already knew.
spectacular as
He
a
was a
10th
bullfrog in
grader.
high school, man.
And you had Kenyatta Jackson was on the defensive end. And Jeremiah Johnson, who's now at UCF, Kenyatta Jackson at Ohio State.
Also
Brandon
football.
Innes was on the American Heritage team. Mark Fletcher was on the American Heritage team.
Fletcher.
Josiah
Innes-
Trader was on the American team.
Innes isn't getting enough shine. Innes was a dog.
They
in high
had,
school.
I just recently went back and looked, of the 44 players who started in that game, 26 of them ended up at Power 4 universities
That's wild.
with scholarships. 26 of them.
26 17-year-olds that you already knew. Like you
Some of
watch-
them were 15 at the time.
It is a wild feeling to look at a 17-year-old football player and be like, that guy is going to be one of the greatest players of all time.
Jeremiah Smith, it was
That's
obvious.
exactly what popped off with Jeremiah Smith.
It's crazy.
You watch Jeremiah Smith now, and you're like, that guy could be the greatest wide receiver ever.
He's a freshman and he's already breaking records at Ohio State.
You're going to the game of the week, though.
I am going to the game of the week. Big noon kickoff at UCF in Orlando. UCF
I thought you were going to
versus
Bama,
Colorado. Deion Sanders on campus. Look, you got two of the best players in college football, right? The best passing quarterback prospect in 2025 in Shadur Sanders. You got the best player in college football in Travis Hunter.
Hold on one second.
But
you know
the best
Madonna's
team,
very litigious, right?
Oh, shit.
Really? Is she?
Yeah, very litigious. Yeah, and very distracting.
Like a hope.
the very
Similar
best
to
team
a hope.
is going to be UCF. I'm excited. I'm headed up there. I'm going to be hanging out at tailgate, hanging out at Big Noon Kickoff, trying to make some content around all of it.
See that turncoat DJ Khaled.
I cannot. The fact that DJ Khaled is going to be performing there makes me excited beyond belief in bringing up some of the kind of South Florida flavor to UCF. It's going to be a fun day, and I can't wait to watch the Knights
And it's
win.
exciting for a bunch of recruits that actually get to see Deion Sanders in person because he never actually physically recruits people.
Never. And he claimed they're only going to be there for him.
I don't even know. Well, I thought this should have already been done.
What the shit is this?
I didn't want to do this.
Look, I don't know what this is here today either. Because we had a conversation. It's like, let's just, appointment listening, pick a day. That's how we'll do it.
Yeah, randomly. We'll pick a different day every week to do this stupid thing, this bucket of death thing.
It's impossible. I'm here for the fans. I'm here for the audience, and I know they want to follow along.
Supposed to be like
It's impossible
random.
for them to know.
I've been in it every week.
Me too. I hate football.
Every week. How many times has Stugotz done this?
Never.
None.
He hasn't done it once.
No, this is a bit. I don't like it.
Well, who was here yesterday? Were you here yesterday?
No.
I was here yesterday. Jeremy was here yesterday, and Chris Cody. That
I was
was
finally
yeah,
off.
it was
I was
literally
finally
just the
off
three
on
of
a
us.
Thursday.
three of us just
Why
looking
wasn't
at each
this
other.
handled?
Just trying to work really hard.
Dan's not here. Do we have to do this? Like, we could tell him we did it, and he won't know,
Nah,
right?
he watches. He watches.
Well, let's pretend to do it.
It's so early. It could be a random sample. But if I am handed a sheet with lines and I see that thing in the studio, I'm flatly not going to participate. Stugotz has to do this one of the weeks. This is bull.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is, back in my day, we used to know what the punishments were. So as you were picking, you were like, you know what? There's a pretty good punishment still on the board.
Yeah.
I can afford to be risky here. Now it's like I'm blind. I have no idea what are the punishments.
I mean, we have a list of punishments in a doc that I think was sent
Why
to
is it a
everybody.
secret? Why is
I
it a
don't
secret
think I've
I'm sure it
document?
was sent to everybody.
A
No,
year
I
ago,
think
it was sent to
anyone
everybody.
I'm kind of with the secrecy here.
No,
I'm not on
It's time for the bucket of death. We start. We don't have a sponsor, right? It's just
No.
sponsored by
Which is another reason
Apathy.
why I'm frustrated why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Sponsored by the haters.
Jeremy.
Underdog.
Wow.
You get to pick any underdog on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple good
the
ones.
Bills are an underdog.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see here.
Titans are a dog.
Bills are a dog.
You get a couple home dogs too. You got the Colts, a home dog to the Steelers at 1.5.
Patriots, 10.5 point under.
Yeah,
Bucks
that-
a great
that's
home
some
dog.
dogs.
You
The
should
Bucks
take the Patriots plus 10.5.
Panthers,
On the
they
road.
look nice.
Jeremy
Red
is taking
Rifle.
the Patriots at
No,
San Francisco.
that's not what's happening.
Right.
You know what?
Noted.
Titans.
The Vikings are an underdog.
Commanders, little road dog.
Man,
plus
this
three and a
is
half.
making it more confusing. I'm gonna go ahead
Colts.
and take.
The Bucks.
I believe in Baker Mayfield. I'm taking
Wow.
the Buccaneers over the
How
Eagles
about
at
that?
home.
Wow.
You could also put it back.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm taking it.
Okay.
So you're not doing it.
10-day Tony.
All right,
Here we
well,
go. Let's see.
Baker
Rummaging.
Mayfield beat
Might have
the
been a bad
Eagles
choice.
at home in the playoffs last
Playoffs.
season. So
All right, I've got the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm quickly putting it back. They're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
1.5 point dog though. That's
Anthony
not that bad.
Richardson against that defense. I'm not.
Best defense in
I
the
can
league.
already tell you that that's going to be the least aesthetically pleasing game of the weekend.
It's going to be terrible. All right, here we go.
Well, the Giants Cowboys would
The
like a word.
St. Roonies.
Yes, who do they got?
They're at the
At
Falcons.
Falcons.
2.5 point dog.
Hey,
One of
winnable
the
game.
fiercest rivalries in the professional football
They
scene.
travel.
St. Rooney's are
Derek
good.
Carr didn't play that well, and then there was a murder in New Orleans. So blood on your hands. He was playing well. We went like 3 weeks without a murder in New Orleans. Plays poorly. Death.
That kind of thing.
It's his fault.
The Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings.
They're at the Packers.
No.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good. That's a good.
Yeah. That's
Roy,
good for an underdog.
Roy, you love putting back teams that are really good.
That might have been my
Vikings-
underdog.
Vikings-
Dude, this is a storyline.
Vikings are really, really good.
I would love for someone to like.
Do we
see
know
this.
who's starting this week?
I would
Chart?
love someone to chart Roy's putback on the
I
first
charted.
pool.
There's a season I've charted putback rate.
He puts back some winners, dude.
No, but what happens to the
It's
putback?
1 and
That's-
2 so far.
That's the question. What happens to the putbacks?
I mean, historically, like you put like some like you.
No, the putbacks are 1 and 2
You're
so
not
far
that
this
careful.
season.
What'd you get? Is that the Wizard of Oz?
No, this is the Big Apple.
Okay.
I'm going with the New York Rangers.
All right.
Man, the
New
Jets are a
ball.
7.5 point favorite.
No.
So you're going to take the New York? They play a preseason game.
Yeah.
All right, so the next someone's got to track.
I'll look it up.
The New York Rangers preseason game.
We're
and
a
if they
New
lose
York Rangers preseason game instead of one of the best defenses in the league and a good offense run by a very good head coach who could win head coach
Matt
of the year.
Rempe's
but
going to
no-
get
On
like
a team that's
16
3 and
minutes of ice time.
0.
No one's gonna remember.
Yeah. They are playing the New Jersey Devils.
When?
On the 30th.
Yeah,
Monday.
No one's gonna remember.
Hey, Roy's a hockey guy. He's
I
gonna
got the
hockey show later.
Vikings also.
This segment's
By
Wow,
the way.
keep that.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm gonna
bad
put it back.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, put the Vikings back.
Billy. You threw the Vikings back?
Yeah, I put them back.
What are we doing?
Is there anything that video production can do to
I
make
got
this
the
segment
Rams.
better?
The Rams.
Yeah, not good.
The Rams. The Rams?
They're
3-point
plus
dogs.
3 at the Bears.
3-point dogs to the Bears at home.
Oh, video production did make this segment better. There's my homie Greg.
There it is.
Hey,
The
Greg.
most awkward
Oh.
content I get
All right,
in my
this segment's
DMs.
not so bad now. Greg, PIP. Look at that lady killer. I got the Seattle Seahawks. They were on the road Monday Night Football at Detroit. I'm going to put that back, even though the Seahawks are 3-0.
Seahawks, another team, 3-0. Probably the best defense in the league, Mike.
3.5-point dog, and it's
Take
just
that.
primetime crowd.
I feel like we've said best defense in the league about 3 different
That's
teams.
right.
No,
in this
Seattle
segment.
Seattle has the best defense in the league by numbers if you check PFF.
Hell, automatic. Is this death?
What does it
Instant
say?
death.
Yeah, and people are really been paying their fines. I get the fine.
Well, they have
bucket.
been paying their fines. It just they all go to Jess still for some reason.
I don't understand.
I think we could stop that.
That's got to stop.
Yeah.
Are we done with that now?
What's in the fine bucket?
It's
I
a,
just see singles right now.
by the way, for the a lot of times we like to say for the audio audience, oh, you should look it up on YouTube. We've got this video playing. Audio audience, trust me, today,
All right, looks
just
like
listen audio.
You're good.
$3 so far.
I got the Patriots.
There's a 5.
Jacoby Brissett
10-point dogs
10-point
to
dogs.
the 49ers.
at the Niners.
Yeah.
At
No,
San
you know what I'm going to
Francisco.
do? I'm going to put it back.
Yeah, good call.
Defense, sneaky good for
I
the
don't
Patriots.
understand how
Just letting you
Greg
know.
Hutchison can bother anybody.
Mike, there's a 5 that just came out.
I got the swab helmet.
Wow, swap with Mike. You could get
You
$8.
swap with me.
Oh, wait. Is
Wait,
that,
no, you have
It's
to
automatic
wait,
death,
hold on,
but
you need
you
to
get the
draw
money.
another helmet that you're
Oh,
swapping.
hey, Death.
Yeah,
Hey, Death.
Reaper.
If the
Yeah,
Reaper,
exactly.
If the
Reaper,
Reaper slacks, that's not on
Wanna
you.
come back?
This is
Well, don't come back with an attitude.
yeah, for real.
What is this?
Greg.
All right.
Where's Greg from?
I don't know. I want to say West Coast of Florida.
Okay.
If so, T's and P's.
Oh, that's a thank you for your service, I believe.
Yeah. Thank
you can take
for
Army. They
service.
already won last
Army
night.
already won.
Okay.
So you're
He's gotta
electing
swap,
not to
though.
But you
swap.
still have to
You
swap,
swap.
I still have to swap?
right?
You don't have to.
Well, it
no.
was his
You have the-
second helmet.
you
He got
reserve the
stuck
right
with a
to.
swap.
You
I don't
reserve
know.
the
Who
right to
cares?
swap.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Swap with me. I'll
How
take
much
Army.
money's in the thing?
All right, it is currently $9 plus an IOU from Mike, which is $1. So it's if you keep it, it's
$10.
$9.
Mike, this
No,
swap
if
could
Mike
cost
keeps
you
it,
$1. It could cost you $1 to swap.
Again, if Mike keeps it,
Dude, take the
$9.
$10. Who cares?
If you swap it, $10.
Someone's actually going to make you dress up.
That's a good point.
And you can choose the costumes.
I'll take
10
10.
free bucks.
I'll
you
take
get-
$10.
There we go.
Go down to Mickey
And now you get
D's.
to choose from Jeremy's list.
All right, you owe Amin $1 plus this 9.
Okay, you got it.
There you go. Oh,
Thank you. And I'm safe.
You could put it right here.
I think
in
this is the first
brassiere.
time in noted history someone has swapped for an automatic.
Because he knows that no one's going to actually collect.
We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Everyone's
like
dressing
money.
up this year.
I like money. I like revenue generation.
Good segment.
Great segment. Oh, there it is.
Cash.
And there's $1 right there.
Yeah.
Keep Greg up, though. I like Greg.
And the IOU, no, he just gave me the bucks. So
I just gave him the
IOU's
buck.
gone.
We're paid off. I will not be participating in this segment, even if I'm scheduled next week.
Okay.
This is bogus.
But you already got a win.
Yeah, but I still won't be participating.
That's a principle. Of the
It is. Like, Stugotz hasn't been in this
I don't
segment
think
all
Principalities.
year.
like that, but
I
I'm the
like-
only person. Me and Roy have been in here
I've
every
been,
week.
I've been into every single one of them too, because
What
they're
the
always
hell?
on a Thursday, except today they're on a Friday.
What the hell, man?
last week it was Thursday. It was Friday also, I think, or the week before.
I don't like it, man.
It's fine. I mean, whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull a Matt Sluka and just
Yeah.
not take the field.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I like money like Matt Sluka likes money. Matt Sluka is the UNLV quarterback. Started the best start in school history. The first time they've been ranked in the coaches poll. Everything's great. And then abruptly just said, I'm leaving. I'm not playing. And they said, why? And it's because they made promises to him about NIL money that they did not come with. And I know you guys talked about
according
this.
to their side.
Yeah, according to their side.
I think it's irrefutable that his agent also dropped the ball here.
Yes, and that's the part I wanted to yes and to, because I know you guys talked about this earlier in the week, and like I said, the Sluka side is that, hey, they promised us $100,000, and now they're pretending like they can't come up with it or they didn't promise it or whatever. The school side is, hey, we never made this agreement, although, an assistant coach may have said something, but he doesn't have the authority to say it. The head coach said, I had no knowledge of this, and as far as I know, we made a deal to pay him $3,000 a month for appearance fees and stuff like that. Now, the Sluka family is also saying, hey, the reason we came here is because of $100,000. We had offers of up to 4 or 5 times that from several Big Ten schools, but we came here.
And which is, I mean, maybe not to play right away. He was coming from Holy Cross.
So, well, I mean, yes, he was coming from Holy Cross, but he was a sought-after prospect in the transfer portal.
He ended up at UNLV. So a lot of that could be bluster, but I don't mean to impede where you're going.
Is the 4 or 5 times 100,000 or the 3,000?
100,000.
I don't know.
That's what he's saying. That's what they're saying.
Turned down $500,000 to go play at UNLV.
Billy, there's no way. There's no
it's just between us.
Well, I mean,
there
like,
is
no
flatly
impossible.
no freaking way the quarterback from Holy Cross was getting offered $500,000 from the Big Ten and decided, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go to UNLV.
He likes good weather.
Not a thing.
he likes good
Not
weather.
A thing.
Not enough to play.
Not a thing.
Well, I mean, look, you got principles too. But I wanted to add to this story because I think I have some inside information about this story. And everyone's like, well, I mean, college football. Strange bedfellows. But yes, I do.
A man of many beats.
Because
A lot of you are saying strange bedfellows.
yes, between me and college football, right? But I got my eyes on not his NIL deal, but an NIL deal from UNLV. And let me tell you something, guys. I was blown away by how ironclad professional contract language it was. It looked like an NBA uniform player contract.
Yeah, these are real contracts.
These are like, they're absolutely, this isn't like some, hey, well, da-da-da. It's like, whereas the da-da-da.
Part of the issue with Sluka is that there isn't a real paper
There's
trail.
a verbal offer.
Which is honestly on the fault of the agent.
Of the agent. Because if you have a client, like if you have an agent, at that point, there's no such thing as verbals. Verbals are like, for me and my boy, or like a personal relationship between two people. It's not, if I have an agent, your whole life is supposed to get everything in writing. You talked about this before, the Joe Smith contract in the NBA that the NBA found out that the Timberwolves signed Joe Smith under the table and they tore it up and they put the Timberwolves in this purgatory. They lost draft picks. It was all started because Joe Smith was promised the money by Glenn Taylor, and Joe Smith's agent was like, I'm worried he might die before, and the new ownership won't.
Taylor's still around.
And Glenn Taylor's still around. So they basically put it in writing, and that was the smoking gun that the NBA found. They found an actual paper trail. But in an NIL standpoint, why would you have a paper trail? But it also made me think about this idea that UNLV, if they are at fault here, if they made this promise or whatever, everyone here is operating with some old world rules, right? The old world was like, hey, kid,
Honor
come play
amongst
here.
thieves.
Yeah, and here's a bag full of money and da-da-da. And now it is so organized that, like, you can't play by those old rules anymore because they don't matter.
I think it speaks to number one, UNLV doesn't have its house in order, because if you have a good, strong collective, things like this never make it out to the public sphere. Even there are disagreements sometimes. Maybe there's wink and a nod bonus structures that aren't adhered to in writing. It is your job as a collective to make sure this doesn't happen. Look at just a spotlight on Miami, given the John Ruiz stuff. If Miami can't afford to slip up because the entire nation would seize on it. If Miami had what happened to FSU before the Orange Bowl game, where you have players essentially holding their teams hostage saying, I'm not taking that field unless this stuff gets corrected, it signals like a really dysfunctional collective. And that's what we have here, but also we have an agent that, to me, very clearly failed his client. And all of this is going to be used by people to push their agenda. I already know what's going to happen on College Game Day. We're going to be sermonized by Nick Saban with a bunch of nodding heads and say, this is all bad. And everybody in the audience is going to agree, because ultimately...
No, they're not. They're just drunk.
Sports fans are just... I think they're going to agree in that what happened to UNLV and its fan base and that team is super unfortunate. According to the ESPN CFP analytics, they had a 23% chance to make the expanded college football playoff field. This was a special season brewing for UNLV. Ultimately, fans, that team, you're ripping away their feel-good because people couldn't get their house in order. And people are going to use this to say NIL is bad. That's not what happened here.
Brett McMurphy has an update to this story.
Yes.
Which is that the CEO of a familiar name to us, Circa, Circa Sports,
Yes.
Derek Stevens has reached out to UNLV offering to pay $100,000 to keep Sluka at UNLV and their playoff hopes alive.
Shout out to Derek Stevens. Shout out to Circa. Great company. Great place. Why do I sound like Trump? But I want to go back
Any
to
one of those.
I want to go back to what Mike said. Mike, I think you're incorrect here in the sense that there's a disagreement, right? The family is pretty adamant. You promises $100,000. And the school, the head coach says, I didn't promise you that. And moreover, if we were to give you this money now that you're threatening to walk, it now violates pay-for-play rules in the state of Nevada and also NCAA rules.
That's not actually real, though.
No?
No. They're
I mean,
using.
it's pretty
I saw the
pay-for-play.
statement. I saw the statement in UNLV. Nonsense. They can do that. They can absolutely do.
They can actually they pony up the
absolutely
money and
do
just
it.
pay
Like
them?
it does not hold water. It is a legal move. It is they can do that.
They can just
They can do that. They can do that. What's happened here? The horse is out of the barn now. I don't think you can bring him back because he just quit on his team.
sure.
Like there's a lot of locker room stuff that you want to use other excuses like, well, now if he comes back, people will know that we're paying him. My guy, we're talking about an NIL deal where you were paying him.
No,
you
but
can absolutely pay for
it's
play.
not. It's not that people know we were paying them. There's a legality, as I understand.
What's
isn't-
illegal about it? The collective pays him money to play. That's what was happening before. It's not. It's the fact that everyone's allowed UNLV to have that BS statement out there is insane to me. It's insane to me. Like they're breaking some NCAA law by paying the kid. We're in this mess because the kid was getting paid. It is asinine.
So
it
if
makes
you were-
zero sense.
If you are involved in the UM collective, right? But if you were involved in the UNLV collective, and the first whispers of, "Hey, Sluka's not happy. He says he wants $100,000," you would do what?
Well, thankfully, Miami's collective hasn't run into
I'm
an
not-
issue where, like,
that's
hey,
why I
this
said-
person told us this.
That's why I didn't say
Yeah,
Miami. I
yeah.
said you're a part of UNLV
Yeah.
now. You're Mike Ryan
You
from Vegas,
These
not
are
from
these
Florida.
are very difficult things to clean up after the fact.
Right.
Now,
But I'm just saying, like you're saying that they messed up. They dropped the ball. Like I'm saying, let's role play.
yeah, I'm not.
I'm the guy from the staff. I just came up and said, guys, well, let me get into care. Guys, I got bad news. Sluka says if we don't come up with $100,000, he's walking.
There's a dangerous precedent that you set because it's kind of like what happened with FSU, and you see how their following season went. It signals bad leadership. This is not a cop out. I'm going to do this scenario.
Yes.
But what you do is you're proactive with it. You make
let's,
sure
let's be
all
in the
your
moment. Let's be in the moment.
All
Let's-
right. But there's a wayward coach that's not on message, allegedly. And
Yeah.
that shit just
Yeah,
flatly can't happen.
Tony, you'll be the assistant coach.
All right. So we already know the head of Circa is coming to the table. So it's not like this money doesn't.
Well, the head of
exist.
Circa's coming now. I'm just saying again. We're going back. Before this is not public. Nobody knows. I'm the guy on the staff. I just.
So I'm saddled with this mess, and I can't
Yeah.
fix it on the front end by making sure that our culture and everything is tight and our operations are good and every kid is
Well,
getting
Tony
paid.
did it. I mean, Tony, did you tell the kid you were going to give him $100,000?
I told him that we had the funds available eventually to get him that money.
This
I didn't
never
run it
goes
to
public.
you guys though.
What you tell your collective, you tell your team, you tell your coaching staff. Say I found out about this on Sunday. This never goes public because there's no going back from that IG tile of Sluka saying I'm gonna get a red shirt now. There's no going back to that because he's
Well, that
quit on
hasn't
his-
happened yet, Coach
No,
Mike.
no, I know, but
we're still.
I know. So what I'm telling you is that this doesn't get public.
Okay, so what do we do?
We
What
go
do
to
we
our
do?
we go to our biggest wigs inside of our collective. We tell them the situation. We say this is a situation that can never happen again. There's a disagreement as to what the deal points were, and you find out who's willing to step up to the table. If no one is, then you do the risk analysis on. All right, are we just going to let them walk and be a national punchline? Do we go into our own pockets and make an exception here and make sure that this doesn't spread throughout the team so we don't have a situation where other players start leveraging this stuff? You mobilize quickly in a panic. You go after your top dogs inside of your collective and you say, this is an issue that, yes, it's costing you more money now, but this can really spiral out of control and cost us more in the long run.
Coach, I got a list of our biggest wigs.
Okay,
Got Chris Angel.
right.
I got Carrot Top.
Mind freak.
We might need a little bit more. Janine, can you get me Derek Stevens?
Coach, that's the biggest wig.
I think.
Do you want to go all the way to the top, or do you want to work your way up?
We have a 23% chance to make the CFP. Do you want this or not?
We're having the best season of our lives.
We're the running Reds.
I got Flava Flav.
And honestly, this makes us feel like the 90s with our basketball program. Admit it. This is kind of fun.
It is. But I'm not going to talk to him. You talk to him.
Well, I think I could talk to him, but guys, I'm really worried that Sluka's going to run his big mouth back in the locker room and say, "Hey, guess who's $100,000 richer, boys?" What happens?
We can't have that.
What happens if we get deeper into the season and then he stops again and he says,
"That's why we make a second contract with the non-disclosure agreement language. That if word gets out on here, we know that we're not the ones. If word spreads, he is in violation, and we can rule that contract null and void."
What about Wayne Newton?
We can
Reach out to Terry Fader
Who is that?
and his puppet Walter.
There you go.
Not
What
Walter, whatever
about
his name is.
what about Manticore, the tiger?
We got some other big wigs for you. What about William Henry Harrison and Millard Fillmore
The
and John
presidents?
Tyler?
You mentioned Wayne Newton and bigwigs. That's the joke that I thought you were going for.
Oh,
It's like an actual bigwig.
Zachary Taylor.
Manticore.
Winston, that's his puppet.
It's just a mess.
Penn
How about
Teller?
this? How about this, guys? Here's a plan. We let our starting quarterback, our undefeated starting quarterback, embarrass us publicly. Then we establish a precedent where other players can openly complain about many things and threaten to take their red shirts. And also, we have the school put out an asinine statement that suggests that schools can't have their players paid money to play for them. Let's do that instead and totally ruin this stream season. Already break.
It is really bad PR.
It's terrible.
It's terrible PR.
It's terrible.
But
It's a messy situation. And it's going to be used as the NCAA lobbies for safe harbor status. This is going to be used by a lot of people. See, hey, this stinks. Your team's not going to make the college football playoff now. Why? NIL disagreement. When this goes, it's not like the NCAA is a cure-all here, but they're going to use this. Nick Saban on game day is going to use this. People are going to use this to advance their cause. The cause that I truly think can actually save, if I may try to rescue NIL and solve it, is you need to have an online database, because I think this is a transparency issue. You have the ambiguity of things not being in writing. Wait, you don't like that?
I don't like Greg.
Greg
in the
Hutchison?
corner
Let
is
Greg
very
do
distracting.
his thing. Greg is fine.
Mike is not fine. He's not fine. This PR is not fine. And you know who else has terrible PR? I'm trying to figure out whomst amongst. On the one hand, we have disgraced Mayor Eric Adams of New York,
My guy.
who made a statement yesterday in very, very interesting circumstances. On the other hand, we have Diddy, and specifically Diddy's lawyer.
Not my guys.
Diddy's lawyer. I would think that if I were both as rich and powerful as Sean Combs is, and also getting hit with all these charges that are pretty dastardly,
Substantial.
Right? Substantial. This is serious shit. Like, the feds are on you. You're about to do Fed time.
Yeah, he's
right?
sharing a cell with SBF.
Sam Bankman-Fried, right? This is the fight for my life if I'm Diddy. What I don't want is my lawyer doing a media tour saying, "Who said there's 1,000 baby oil bottles?" Well, the feds did. They just
Come
meant,
on, what do you?
He was like, they just meant a lot. I was like, what? And then Harvey Levin asks him, why would he have that many baby oil bottles? And his answer was, well, he lives next to a Costco. He buys them in bulk. So yesterday, Tony and Fuentes and I, we were workshop. We were like, yo, if you really want to fuck Diddy's world up, if you're Costco, you come out with a statement saying, we don't sell baby oil.
Yeah, you're not dragging us into this.
And the reason was because all three of us are Costco guys. So we're looking around and saying,
we're Costco guys.
Thank you. So wait a second. I've never seen baby oil at Costco.
never.
I go to Costco like twice a week. I've never seen it there.
They came out and they said that.
Yeah,
right?
they came.
Yes.
The point is, we had said it first.
We workshopped that for Costco, and they didn't even know it.
Wow. Two of these three guys are okay in my book. I'll leave that to the audience to guess.
Jesus. What a you know what? I want to see them with Greg in the middle. Can we put Greg's head right where they're doing that little heart sign?
This seems like That might actually be a jail cell. Eric Adams may actually join this jail cell that
A threesome.
SBF. What's going on in New York? It's like Arkham Asylum is up there. Where
It's all celebrities in there.
Celebrity supervillains.
It's like, hey, there's a Joker.
The diddler.
you have Diddy trying to slip through the bars using his baby oil. Like,
I saw that.
What is happening in this one prison?
If you're Sam Bankman-Fried, right, you're sitting in this prison cell and you're thinking to yourself, man, a couple of years ago I was on top of the world. I was on my way to being a billionaire. Everyone loved me and all this stuff. Now I'm sitting in a prison cell in New York. I've lost it all. I lost all the money. I've lost my freedom. I'm about to go to jail forever. Well, I guess things couldn't get any worse.
Yeah, it could be you.
No, this is him like 2 days.
Yeah,
and then,
Like a week ago.
Friedman, you've got a new cellmate. I'm like, oh my God, who is it? Maybe it's someone.
Swing, they open up.
Because he's in protective custody. He's not like in the Gen Pop, right?
This is going to be an off-Broadway play. I guarantee you. The situation that is happening in this jail cell right now is going to be an off-Broadway play.
What if they both beat the charges?
And Eric Adams.
And Eric Adams. Oh, and Eric Adams. What if Eric Adams beats the charges? And
Everybody knows the South District of New York is the Gestapo of America.
That is a quote, ladies and gentlemen. That's not Mike being flippant. That is something Eric Adams said.
Well, no, he always says everybody knows and blank is the
everybody does
of America.
Yeah.
New York is the Istanbul of America.
Dude, I'm still tripping over
the video of him like going through like where you can hide drugs.
Secreting money.
You did that today.
I did that. I secreted money today. I sat down and money came out of me.
But you got 10 big ones.
I did get 10 big ones, man.
Yeah.
Thank you to the swap helmet.
Thank you to the Army Black Knights who, hey, Army Navy might actually have some CFP stakes attached to it.
Look, I'll take everybody's L's for $10 a pop. I'll be honest with you. It's a good deal.
Get paid $10 to wear a costume.
Yeah, you can pay me. Pay me to do this shit.
Allegedly. And also what are you going to do? Like maybe 3 more bucketed deaths?
Who, me?
Yeah, this season.
Why?
Because it's allegedly randomly drawn.
There it is, guys.
Yeah.
Go a little further up, though, like right behind where they are. It's kind of like he's peeking over them.
Oh,
G. Reg.
I wanted them creating his head together with their hands.
Lady Killer Greg.
I can tell you this: you won't find that image on any other show in America, and that's why you come here to the Dan Le Batard Show.
What does Greg do?
Exactly.
What does Greg do?
He just reviews
vibes.
food or something?
No, he doesn't
No.
review food. I never heard Greg speak.
He doesn't say anything?
No,
Billy.
there's just watch the video because there's loud like Kenny G like jazz backing him up, and it's just a dude going out on dates with his fair lady out on the town.
He just stares awkwardly into the camera. I think they take turns holding the phone.
Yeah, can we throw that? That's a great on ramp to show in the video one more time if we could, please.
Sure.
So just Greg,
and
just
while we do
vibe.
that, with the remainder of our time, baseball. Hey, Jeremy, you got some baseball for us?
Oh, yeah, there's baseball. There's a lot of stuff going on. Where do we start? How about this? Shohei Ohtani stat from yesterday. He's now at 400 total bases.
The way
for the
this
season.
segment's going, it looks like you're explaining this to Greg Hutchison. So
All right,
keep
hey,
going.
Greg. So, Greg, Shohei Ohtani is one of the greatest baseball players who's ever lived, and he has a really special season going on right now where he broke a record. He has over 50 homers and over 50 stolen bases. He also has 400 total bases, and he's become the first player since 2001 when Sammy Sosa, Luis Gonzalez, Barry Bonds,
Sammy
and
Sosa.
Todd Helton all did that,
remembers
which is
that name.
really, really amazing. You know, another insane stat for him, it's the 4th time since 2010 when someone's reached 190 hits while slugging over 600. He was one of the guys to do that, but we haven't really talked enough about how Aaron Judge might reach 60 homers for the 2nd time in his career. He'd be the first guy not named Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, or I believe Babe Ruth to accomplish that feat.
Dominican.
I didn't hear a single word you said.